Every time you fell, you got back up. Not because someone helped you, not because anyone gave a damn, but because deep down, even when you hated yourself, you couldn't stand the idea of staying down. That's the difference between you and them. They quit. They cry about fairness and wait for a handout. You've been clawing your way out of the dirt your whole damn life. Do you remember the first time the world kicked you in the teeth? Of course you do. It's burned into your soul, the humiliation, the anger. That suffocating feeling like you'd never be enough. And yet, here you are, still breathing, still fighting. That's all the proof you need. They didn't kill you, and that makes you dangerous. You've got to stop grieving the pieces you lost. Stop crying over what you could have been. The version of you that got shattered wasn't strong enough to survive. It wasn't meant to last. What you're building now, that's unbreakable. That's the monster they'll fear when they see you coming. And let's talk about fear, shall we? Fear isn't your enemy. It's your compass. Fear is what kept you alive when no one else cared whether you lived or died. It whispers in your ear, warns you of the fire, but you run into it anyway, don't you? Because you've learned that fire doesn't destroy you, it forges you. Look at these scars, man. Look at them. Each one tells a story. Each one screams louder than any of the cowards who tried to put you down. They wanted to bury you, but you turned their dirt into armor. You wear their failures like a second skin. Let them hate. Let them talk. Let them try to tear you down again. You'll just rise higher. You think strength comes from comfort, from safety? Nah, strength is born in the trenches. It's forged in sleepless nights and bloody knuckles. It's the kind of thing you only get when you've stared into the abyss, and instead of running, you smiled back. You're not some fragile little soul begging for mercy. You're the storm they pray never comes. You ever notice how people love to preach about kindness and forgiveness? They love telling you to be the bigger person. What a joke. These same people. They'd sell you out for a handful of coins if it meant saving their own skin. So forgive them if you must, but don't forget. And sure as hell, don't trust. You're a warrior, not some naive little lamb waiting for slaughter. Let's get real for a second. You've lost people. Friends, family, people you thought would stand by you. And it hurts. It burns like hell. But you know what? That pain is fuel. Every time someone left, every time they turned their back, you grew stronger. You learned to rely on yourself. You stopped waiting for saviors and became your own damn hero. So here's the truth. What doesn't kill you doesn't just make you stronger. It makes you smarter. It makes you colder. It teaches you the value of standing alone, of fighting alone. The world doesn't owe you anything, and you know it. But that's your edge. You don't expect handouts. You don't beg for approval. You take what's yours and dare them to try and stop you. You're not broken, man. You're evolving. Every hit, every fall, every betrayal. It's all been shaping you into something they can't even comprehend. You've got the kind of resilience that can't be taught, the kind of grit that scares people. They don't know what to do with someone like you, someone who refuses to stay down, someone who turns their worst days into the foundation of something unshakable. So let them underestimate you. Let them talk. Let them laugh. They don't know what it took to get here. They don't know the nights you spent staring at the ceiling, wondering if it was worth it. They don't know about the blood, the sweat, the tears you buried deep so no one could see. But you know. And that's all that matters. You're a warrior, not because you win every battle, but because you keep fighting. Because every time life knocked you down, you got back up. Because you've taken everything they've thrown at you and turned it into a weapon. They tried to break you, but all they did was make you stronger. And now you're unstoppable. Not because you're unscathed, but because you've learned that scars are just proof that you survived. You're not afraid of pain anymore. You're not afraid of failure. You've made peace with the darkness, and now it's your greatest ally. So keep going. Keep fighting. Keep proving them wrong. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. You're not just surviving, you're conquering. And one day, when they look at you with fear in their eyes, you'll know it was all worth it. Because what doesn't kill you doesn't just make you stronger. It makes you unstoppable. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt real peace? Not that fleeting moment of silence, but real peace. The kind that fills you up like you finally found where you belong. Can't remember, can you? That's because peace doesn't exist for people like you and me. Peace is for the weak, for the ones who never had to fight for their place in this world. You were born in chaos, raised in the shadows of struggle. Peace was never an option, but war? That's your element, that's your nature. And you know what? That's fine. You've learned to thrive in it. While they waste their lives chasing happiness and comfort, you've built an empire in the ashes of your pain. You've turned their rejection, their hate, into bricks and mortar. But here's the kicker. They're scared of you now. Oh, they won't admit it, but you see it in their eyes, that flicker of uncertainty, of unease when you walk into a room. They're not scared of what you are now. They're scared of what you're becoming, because they know, deep down, they can't stop it. You felt that fear too, haven't you? Not theirs, yours. That voice in your head telling you, you're not good enough, you'll fail, you'll lose it all. Yeah, I know that voice. It's been with you for as long as you can remember. But here's the thing, that voice, it's a liar. It's the last remnants of the old you, the weak you, trying to hold on. And every time you keep moving forward, you kill a little more of it. You're not afraid of failure anymore. You've failed 1,000 times already. What's one more? Failure is just another lesson, another step on the path you're carving out for yourself. They think failure means the end, but you know better. Failure isn't the end. It's the beginning. It's the fuel that keeps your fire burning. You've got this fire inside you, this relentless hunger that they'll never understand. It's what keeps you awake when the rest of the world is sleeping. It's what drives you to push harder, go further, even when every muscle in your body screams at you to stop. That fire, it's your greatest weapon. It's the reason you're still standing while they're on their knees, begging for someone to save them. You don't need saving. You never did. You're your own savior, your own strength, your own damn army. They'll call you cold, heartless, even ruthless. Let them. They don't understand that in a world designed to break you, survival requires ruthlessness. You don't owe them kindness. You don't owe them understanding. The only thing you owe is to yourself, to keep going, to keep fighting, no matter how hard it gets. And let's not forget the people who left you. The ones who promised they'd stay, who swore they had your back. Where are they now? Gone. Just like you always knew they would be. But here's the twist. They did you a favor. Their absence taught you more than their presence ever could. It taught you that you don't need anyone. You're not dependent on their approval, their love, their loyalty. You're free now. Freedom is a strange thing, isn't it? It's lonely, it's cold, but it's also the most powerful thing you'll ever have. No one owns you, no one controls you. You answer to no one but yourself. And that kind of freedom, it terrifies them, because they can't use you. They can't manipulate you. They can't break you. But don't get it twisted. This path you've chosen isn't for the faint of heart. It's brutal. It's unforgiving. It'll push you to the edge, make you question everything you believe about yourself. But that's where you grow. That's where you find out who you really are. And who you are, my friend, is a warrior. Warriors don't cry about their losses. They don't dwell on their pain. They use it. They let it harden them, shape them, prepare them for the battles to come. You've got battles ahead of you, no doubt about that. Bigger battles, harder battles, but you're ready for them. Every scar, every tear, every sleepless night has prepared you for this. You're not the same person you were a year ago. Hell, you're not the same person you were yesterday. You're evolving every single day. And that's what scares them the most. They can't predict you. They can't control you. You've become something they don't understand, a force of nature, a living testament to the power of resilience. Let them watch. Let them doubt. Let them try to tear you down. You'll just keep rising, higher and higher, until they can't even see you anymore. And when you look back, when you see how far you've come, you'll realize that every single moment of pain was worth it. Because what doesn't kill you doesn't just make you stronger. It makes you unstoppable. You're not just surviving anymore. You're thriving. You're conquering, and no one can take that away from you. This is your time. This is your fight. And you're going to win. Not because it's easy, not because you're lucky, but because you refuse to quit. Because you refuse to let them break you. You're a warrior. You're a survivor. You're the fire they'll never extinguish. And that's what makes you stronger. Keep going, keep fighting, and never, ever stop. They'll never know what it's like to walk the path you've walked. They'll never understand the weight you've carried, the battles you've fought in silence. People love to judge what they don't understand. They love to talk about how they do it differently, how they'd handle things better. But you know the truth, don't you? They wouldn't last a single day in your shoes. You've bled for this life, literally and figuratively. Every step forward has come with a price, and you've paid it in full. You've sacrificed comfort, relationships, and even parts of yourself you thought you couldn't live without. But here's the thing. Every time you let go of something, you made room for something stronger to take its place. Think about it. When they betrayed you, when they left you for dead, it hurt. It burned like hell. But you came out of it sharper, more focused, more determined. They thought they'd break you, but all they did was make you harder to kill. And now, every time they see you, they have to face the reality that they failed. You've got a darkness in you, a kind of fire that they'll never understand. It's not just anger, it's purpose. It's the kind of drive that can't be extinguished, no matter how much they try. They see the darkness as a weakness, but you know better. The darkness is your strength. It's where you draw your power, where you find the clarity they'll never have. You've learned to embrace the shadows, to walk in the void where most people fear to tread. And that makes you dangerous. It makes you unpredictable. While they cling to the illusion of control, you've accepted chaos as your ally. You've made peace with the storm, and now you are the storm. You've seen the worst this world has to offer, and you're still here. Let that sink in for a second. You've been lied to, betrayed, abandoned, and broken, and yet you're still standing. Most people would have folded under half the weight you've carried, but not you. No, you turned that weight into muscle, into armor, into unshakable resolve. They'll tell you to let it go, to move on, to forgive and forget. But you know the truth. Forgetting is a luxury you can't afford. Forgetting means letting your guard down. And you've learned the hard way that trust is a currency too expensive to give out freely. You don't hate them for what they did. Hate is too heavy to carry. But you'll never forget, and that's what keeps you sharp. You don't owe anyone an explanation for the way you live your life. You don't owe them an apology for being who you are. They'll call you bitter, cold, even heartless. Let them. They don't understand that you're not here to make friends or win their approval. You're here to survive, to thrive, to build something they could never tear down. And let's talk about building. You've been building yourself from the ground up for years. Brick by brick, scar by scar, you've created a version of yourself that doesn't flinch, doesn't falter. They see the finished product and think it came easy. But they don't see the nights you spent alone, the battles you fought in silence. They don't see the blood, sweat, and tears that went into becoming who you are today. You've had to learn the hard way that nobody's coming to save you. No one's going to hand you a lifeline, a second chance, or a shoulder to cry on. And that's fine, because you don't need saving. You've become your own savior, your own anchor, your own lifeline. You've learned to stand on your own 2 feet, even when the ground beneath you was crumbling. They think strength is about muscles, about winning fights, or looking tough. But you know the truth. Real strength is about endurance. It's about taking hit after hit and refusing to stay down. It's about getting up every damn time, no matter how many times you've been knocked down. And that's what they don't understand. They see your scars and think you're weak. They see your struggles and think you're broken, but you know better. Every scar is a badge of honor, every struggle a lesson learned. You've taken their worst and turned it into fuel. You've faced their hate, their doubt, their attempts to tear you down, and you've risen above it all. You've got a fire in you that they can't put out. They've tried, haven't they? They've thrown everything they had at you. Lies, betrayal, pain. And yet here you are, still breathing, still fighting, still rising. And now you're unstoppable. Not because you're invincible, but because you've accepted that pain is part of the process. You've embraced the struggle, the darkness, the uncertainty. You've learned that every setback is just a setup for a comeback. So let them doubt you. Let them underestimate you. Let them think they've won. You know the truth. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And not just stronger. It makes you smarter, tougher, more resilient. It turns you into something they can't handle, something they can't destroy. You're not just surviving anymore. You're thriving. You're building a legacy that they'll never be able to erase. And one day, when they look back and realize what you've become, they'll regret ever doubting you. Because you're not just a survivor, you're a warrior, you're a force of nature, and you're just getting started. Keep going, keep fighting, keep proving them wrong. This is your time, this is your fight, and you're going to win. No matter what, win or lose, it doesn't matter anymore, does it? Because you've already won something they'll never understand. You've won the war with yourself. That's the hardest battle of all. The one where you look in the mirror and face everything you hate, everything you fear, and everything you regret. The battle where you choose to stand up and fight for the person staring back at you. Do you realize how rare that is? Most people never even start that fight. They run from it, drown it out with distractions, or pretend it doesn't exist. But not you. No, you took it head on. You bled for it. You tore yourself apart piece by piece, and now you're putting yourself back together in a way they'll never comprehend. They don't see the nights you spent questioning everything. The nights when you were alone with nothing but your thoughts, and every one of them felt like a dagger in your chest. They don't see the times you almost gave up, the moments when the weight felt too heavy to carry, but you carried it anyway. That's what makes you different. That's what makes you dangerous. Dangerous, not because you're cruel or ruthless, but because you're free. Free from their expectations, their judgments, their attempts to control you. They can't put chains on someone who's already broken them. They can't cage someone who's learned to thrive in the wild. And that freedom, it scares them, it terrifies them, because it's a mirror to their own weakness. When they look at you, they see everything they're too afraid to become. They see someone who's faced the darkness and come out stronger. Someone who doesn't need their approval, their acceptance, or their permission. You don't need anyone to validate your worth. You've already done that for yourself. You've proven that you can stand alone, fight alone, and win alone. And that's what they'll never understand. What it takes to walk this path. The kind of strength it requires. It's not just physical strength. It's mental, emotional, spiritual. It's the kind of strength that comes from surviving hell and refusing to let it define you. Hell, you've been to the bottom. You've seen what it looks like when everything falls apart. You've felt the crushing weight of despair, the suffocating grip of failure. But you didn't stay there. No, you clawed your way back, inch by inch, step by step. And now, every step forward is a testament to your resilience. They'll call you arrogant for that. They'll say you're too confident, too proud. But what they don't understand is that your confidence isn't built on ego. It's built on experience. You're confident because you've earned it. You've fought for it. You've bled for it. Every scar on your body, every ache in your soul, is a reminder of what you've endured. And those scars, they're not weaknesses, they're armor. They're proof that you've survived what would have destroyed most people. You've turned every failure into a lesson, every setback into an opportunity. They tried to bury you, but they didn't realize you were a seed. And now you're growing into something they can't control, can't predict, and can't stop. But let's get one thing straight. This journey isn't over. It never will be. There will always be new challenges, new battles, new enemies. But that's the beauty of it, isn't it? The fight is what keeps you alive. The struggle is what keeps you sharp. You don't want an easy life. You've seen what that does to people. It makes them soft, complacent, weak. You want the challenge, the grind, the fight, because that's where you find your strength. That's where you find out what you're really made of. And every time you think you've reached your limit, you push past it. Every time you think you can't go any further, you take another step. That's what sets you apart. That's what makes you unstoppable. So let them watch. Let them doubt. Let them try to tear you down. They don't realize that every attempt to break you only makes you stronger. Every insult, Every betrayal, every failure is just more fuel for the fire. And that fire, it's not going out anytime soon. It's burning brighter than ever, consuming everything in its path. They can try to contain it, to snuff it out, but they'll fail. Because this fire isn't just about survival anymore. It's about domination. It's about proving to yourself that you're capable of more than you ever thought possible. You're not just surviving anymore. You're thriving. You're growing. You're becoming the person you were always meant to be. And that person doesn't take no for an answer. That person doesn't back down. That person doesn't quit. So keep going, keep fighting, keep proving them wrong. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. You're not just a survivor. You're a warrior, a force of nature, a living testament to the power of resilience. And one day when you look back on everything you've been through, you'll realize that it wasn't just about the destination. It was about the journey. It was about every step you took, every battle you fought, every lesson you learned. Because what doesn't kill you doesn't just make you stronger. It makes you unstoppable. And you're unstoppable. Now go prove it.